If anybody has the band, we're gonna use it today. I want to grab that.
I'm actually so strong. I was using it last night.
And you broke it?
So strong that I broke it.
You're a beast.
The moral of the story, guys, is if you come to Core Club every week, you might be strong too and break your TheraBand.
There we go.
He's working.
All right, should we get started? You ready? Let me get my stopwatch out. Okay. Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. I know it was a tough week last week, so just with life in general, so I hope everybody's doing okay. All right, we're going to start out with our typical breathing. So you're going to get on your back and have your feet flat on the floor or up at 90 degrees. And we're going to do 4 deep breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. When you breathe out, keep breathing all the way out, all the way out. So you literally have no more breath. Pause for 2 seconds. And breathe in. Also remember to reach your arms as high up in the air as you can when you breathe out. You may feel your lower abs engage. Try to keep those engaged when you breathe in. One more breath. Great work. Okay, we're gonna go into our dead bug. So we're gonna do a hold, dead bug hold. So you're gonna be on your back, your knees are gonna be at 90 degrees, and you're gonna extend your opposite arm and opposite leg. And we're just gonna hold for 30 seconds each side, starting now. If that's too hard for you, you can either hold and then come up and reset, or you can just do repetitions for 30 seconds. Ten more seconds here. Remember too to keep not bringing the up knee to your chest. You want to leave it at 90 degrees. Switch. If you start to inch it towards your chest, you're not getting the full ab effect. Also remember to breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. The more normal you're able to breathe, the better. 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Nice work. Okay, we're gonna go into a glute bridge. We're gonna hold for 30 seconds, single leg. We're gonna start, you're gonna come up. Remember, only come up as much as your glute and hamstring will allow. You don't wanna be arching your back or flaring your ribs. If you want, you can put your hands up in the air, but it's not necessary. Really think about activating that glute. I also like to think about keeping pressure distributed on my foot with some good pressure on my big toe. Switch sides. If you find that you're feeling more pressure on the outside of your foot or the inside of your foot, it's also impacting how you're activating through your glute and your hamstring. So really try to think about having that even pressure. And rest. Nice work. Okay, we're gonna go into a hip flexor stretch. The first round we're gonna do kneeling. Second round we're gonna go standing. So you're gonna be on your knees. One knee's gonna come forward. Remember not to come way forward like this. You want your shoulders, hips, and knee to be stacked. And all you're gonna do is squeeze your glute. If you want an extra stretch, you can bring your arm up. Let's switch sides. Nice work. Okay, we're gonna go back onto our backs, but we're gonna grab our band. If you don't have a band, you can simply do the dead bug exercise with your arm to your opposite knee and do 10 repetitions each side. If you have a band, you're gonna put it around your toes. You're gonna bring your knees up. You're gonna grab one knee, extend the other leg forward. Breathe out and bring your arms overhead. Hold for a couple seconds and return to neutral and do the opposite leg. We're gonna do 5 each side. Really think about not arching your back, which is very easy to do with this exercise. You wanna keep your back flat and your pelvis tilted, really engaging that lower core. It's good for both hip flexor strengthening, lower ab strengthening. I have 2 more on each side. One more. Great work. Okay, we're gonna go back to the glute bridge. This time we are going to do 10 reps, single leg each side. So again, you only wanna come up as far as your glutes will allow. Not coming up like this. Don't use your elbows to prop yourself up. Have your arms up in the air. And just squeeze your butt, 10 each side. The other thing is try to think about keeping your pelvis tilted. Again, if you're arching your back, it leads to you flaring your ribs versus if your pelvis is tilted forward. It really helps you get into that glute. You want to be as controlled as possible too. So don't just come up and come down. I usually come up and do a little pause at the top and then I come back down slowly. If you haven't switched sides, you can do that. You might find too that some weeks it's a little bit easier than others, and that's okay. It's just a lot of it's just a product of how tired you might be. I did these yesterday and I felt great, and today I feel terrible. Okay, great job. When you're done with that, we're gonna do a hip flexor stretch, but we're gonna actually be standing. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna stand and you're gonna bring one leg forward. You want your knee to be behind your ankle. And then you're going to pull back into extension. Your rear heel is gonna be slightly elevated. Your front knee is gonna be behind your ankle. Just pull back into extension and we're gonna hold here for about 30 seconds. If you want, you can side bend a little bit. If you don't feel comfortable with that, you can just hold this position. Five more seconds. Great work. Come up slowly and switch sides. You can make this stretch as intense as you want, but just don't put yourself in a situation where you're really stretching too hard. About 15 more seconds here. Nice work. Good job.
Now to our plank series. We're gonna start on, come onto your hands and knees. Come onto your toes like in a plank position. And we're gonna do shoulder taps. We want this to be really controlled. And so if you can hold your hand on your shoulder for a second or two, that will just force you to control the movement instead of using momentum. Ribs should be down, glutes are tight, and we don't want any side-to-side rocking. If the shoulder tap feels a little too challenging or you can't control the position, you can just hold the plank position.
If you also need more stability, you can widen your feet. If you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, you can make your feet more narrow.
Five seconds left. Great work. Coming down. We're going to go on our side. Feet are staggered, so the top foot is in front of the back foot, is in front of the bottom foot. If you don't feel like you can control this position, feel free to come up on your knees. But for now, we're going to be feet staggered, coming up into a plank. This bottom glute is really strong, shoulder is strong, and we're going to do little mini rotations forward. This should be from the obliques. You're using your obliques to make this movement, and you're really solid on your shoulder. This is a great core exercise, glute exercise, and shoulder stability exercise. 10 seconds left. Nice work. Coming down, switching sides. Feet are staggered. Coming up into the plank. Little mini rotations. If the rotation feels too challenging, you can just hold the plank with your hand reaching towards the sky. Great work. Ten more seconds. Coming down. All right. Now to our favorite adductor stretch. Coming on your hands and knees. bring your leg out to the side and slowly rock back and forth. Great job. You can keep your foot flat on the ground, or you can turn your toe up towards the sky to get a deeper stretch in your like upper adductor and your hamstring. I like to switch about halfway through so that I get both muscle groups. Great work. 10 more seconds here. Switching sides. Reach that other foot out to the side. We're gonna slowly rock back. Try to get a little bit deeper on each movement. Really ease into it. Turn the toe up now if you want it. Get that different stretch. Really sinking your hips back. 10 more seconds here, great work. All right, great job. Coming back to our plank position. I'm gonna really challenge myself with this one. You can either hold the plank, you can do shoulder taps like we did in the last one, or you can lift your left hand and right leg, and then your right hand and left leg. So we're doing alternating lifts with our hands and toes, just coming a couple of inches off the ground, nice and slowly, so you really have to control the movement. This is a super duper advanced position. So don't beat yourself up if you don't nail it on the first time. We want no side to side movement in our hips. And this really isn't about rushing through the movement. It's about challenging yourself to be controlled. Keeping those ribs down, breathing through it. Ooh. Nice work. We got 15 seconds left here. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Coming down. That one's hard for me. All right. We're going to come back to our side plank. We're going to take this one up a level too. We're going to stack our feet on top of each other, coming up into the side plank. You can either hold this here, or you can do leg lifts with that top leg. This is super hard, so no stress if you want to just hold the position. If you're going to do leg lifts, we want them to be smooth and slow. Reaching that top hand towards the sky, keeping your chest open. 5 more seconds here. Coming down. Great job. Coming to the other side. Our legs are stacked. Our shoulder and lat are really strong. Coming up into the side plank. And lifting our leg if that feels like something you want to challenge yourself with. It's really important here to keep that bottom glute engaged and super strong. That's what I find most challenging about this exercise. I can really feel the difference between sides. One of my glutes is way stronger than the other, which is something to work on for my running and biking. 2 more seconds. Coming down. Great work. We're gonna do the rainbow stretch now. On your hands and knees. This is a great T-spine opener. Bringing that one arm, reaching up over and behind you, then coming around. We're gonna do 10 on the left side, whatever side you started with, and then we're gonna switch sides. Really opening up your chest. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switching sides now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's a really great one to do before or after you you work out. Our T-spine gets really tight from cycling and from running, and it's super important that we keep it loose so that our lower back doesn't have to work too hard.
Thanks, Chelsea. That was a good one. That's hard for me. Okay, so we're gonna do the hollow rock as our next one. It's going to be a hold. So for those of you who have joined before, you know that this is a really challenging one. So there's two aspects to it before we begin. One is you want to try to bring your feet, your heels, and your arms as far back to the ground as possible and hold, right? But you don't want to be arching your back. You don't want to be flaring your ribs. So you have to keep that strong core position. If that's too hard for you, you can bring your legs and your arms up. You can bring your legs up a little bit more into a bent position. So just do whatever is you're capable of to keep your back flat on the ground and keep your core engaged. As soon as you start arching your back, the exercise isn't correct. So we're gonna hold this for 30 seconds, okay? Starting in 3, 2, 1, go. It's okay too, if you wanna try to like challenge yourself a little bit, you can come out and then come out of the position and then go back into it. That's okay too. Great work, we have 10 seconds left. Three, 2, 1, down. Nice job. Okay, we're gonna do the split squat iso hold that we did last week. So you're gonna come up, and let me explain the exercise a little bit before you begin. Your front leg is gonna be forward, not too forward. You want your knee and ankle aligned. You're gonna raise your front heel, and you're gonna go down into a squat like so. So your front heel is gonna be elevated, your rear heel is gonna be elevated, and you're gonna be squatting down like this. We're gonna do the first one for a minute each side, and then the second round we'll do 45 seconds. All right, we're beginning in 3, 2, 1, go. You may notice initially it's sort of in your quad, but the goal is to really have it get into your butt. And keeping that front foot elevated a little bit really helps with getting some balance, and try to think about really having your weight evenly distributed. If you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, you can go a little bit further down. You can come a little bit further up if it's too hard for you, but really think about trying to get that weight into your glute. You guys are doing great. We have 20 seconds left. You also definitely will feel a little bit of stretch in your hip flexor, and that's good too. 10 seconds, great job. Try to go a little bit deeper for these last 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, come up slowly. Shake it off.
Hey, Sarah?
Yeah.
I have a question. You said front foot elevated then? So does that mean you're on your toes?
Yeah, you're on your toes.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Thanks.
Yeah, so you can see my foot here. My heel is elevated. And we're gonna go down. Here we go. You may find that your balance is a little bit more off on one leg than the other. And again, that's okay. I mean, it's a really good exercise. Like for me on my left side, I always want to go to the outside of my foot. So I have to really focus on trying to keep the pressure on my big toe and really keeping my glute activated. Remember to breathe. You're doing a great job. We have 20 seconds left. I also find too, like the more I squeeze my glute, it becomes a bit easier. It takes the pressure off of your quad. 10 seconds, let's try to go a little bit deeper if you can. Three, two, one. Come up slowly. Whew, nice work. Shake it off. Okay, we're gonna go into a open book. This is another really great T-spine exercise, but I wanna explain one thing to you guys before we go into it, which is that, so this is the exercise. You're going to lie on your side like so. Your knees are gonna be at about 90 degrees, and you're just going to open up like this, and we're gonna hold. But what you don't wanna have happen is you don't want your top knee to slide back. Right? If you do that, it shifts the position of your hips and you're not getting the full extent of the exercise. You want your knees to be perfectly aligned. So you only will come back as far as you can, and you really want to think about breathing through your ribs and twisting through your T-spine, not necessarily through your hips. So we're going to do that. We're going to hold for about 30 seconds each side. 3, 2, 1. So just think about breathing into it. You may feel a few adjustments in your back potentially. Sometimes I get them, sometimes I don't. With each breath, think about trying to extend your arm open a little bit more. I sometimes even feel like today I feel a stretch in my bicep doing this. But the key is to really keep your knees and your hips aligned, so don't let those shift. Five more seconds here. One more big breath. All right, switch sides. Three, two, one. Like I said, I really try to think about breathing through my ribs and trying to get that extension as much as possible. And when I breathe out, I try to open up my arm a little bit more. Two more good breaths here. One more. Nice work. Okay, you can stay on your back. We're gonna go back into the hollow rock. We're gonna hold for another 30 seconds, starting in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. You want to challenge yourself a little bit more, you can rock, but for most of us, we're probably not at that stage, myself included. I usually just hold. Chelsea has very good core stability, and so she often will do the rocking, which she's doing right now, but I am still working on that, so I usually just hold. 10 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Nice work. Okay, we're gonna come up. We're gonna go back into the iso hold. This time we're just gonna hold for 45 seconds each leg, okay? So again, front leg forward, knee and ankle are stacked. You're gonna bring your front heel up so you're on your toes. And then we're gonna drop into it. 3, 2, 1. Really try to think about keeping that weight even on your heel, or on your toes, distributed between your big toe and your little toe. You may find it kind of waffles a little bit, and that's okay. Really think about activating that glute. If you can go a little bit deeper, great. The more you think about activating the glute, the more it takes the pressure off your quad and actually makes this position easier to hold. Got 10 more seconds. Three, 2, 1. Come up slowly. We're gonna switch sides. Shake it out. 3, 2, 1. Our strength coach, Charlie, has me do this a lot. It's just a really good exercise for getting good glute activation, getting a bit of a hamstring stretch. "15 seconds left. You guys are doing great. Try to go deeper for that last 10. 3, 2, 1. Come up. Shake it out. And we're gonna do modified pigeon pose this time. So on your hands and knees, one knee will go over the other. Go down into your elbows and just lean into that hip. You can sort of play. The more you bring your right knee out, the more you're gonna be able to get into it. You can also just sort of like play around a little bit to see how you can best get that stretch in your hip. Got 10 more seconds here. Switch sides. Ten more seconds. Three, 2, 1. There you go. Thanks everyone for joining. We really appreciate it. Also, if you ever have any feedback or anything that you want us to think about or include, we'd love to hear your thoughts. We try to incorporate a lot of the exercises that we do with our strength coach, Charlie, whom some of you may have met. So.
Cool. Thanks so much for being here, everyone. We really appreciate it. Have a good week. Stay well.
See you next week.
See you next
All right.
week.
Thank you,
Thanks,
ladies.
ladies.
Bye.
Bye.
Kelsey, don't forget to press stop recording.